Hello, and welcome back to I'll Watch What They're Watching, where we are curious and adamant about cinema. I am one of your hosts. I'm Kiri.
And I'm Adam.
And this week we are going to kind of do a little bit of a recap of August, let you kind of know, the good, the bad, and the ugly as far as August releases go. And then we will dive a little bit into what's coming up in September.
Yeah, how was August in general for you, Kiri? Did you get out, see a lot of movies? Did you watch a lot at home? What's the lowdown?
Yeah, I didn't see as much as I had wanted to be honest. August isn't over yet as far as this time of recording. We still got a week, so I've still got time to catch up on some things. But I did watch some. I did watch a few things. There was one that just kind of did a one day only engagement that I saw, so it's no longer in theaters, I guess, but it was a Japanese anime film called The Boy and the Beast by Mamoru Hosoda. Saw that last Monday. Like I said, it was really a one night engagement thing. And we're a little different in that I live in a very urban, I basically live in Denver. And so there are 4, 5, 6 theaters all within like a good 20, 25-minute drive from me.
And I do not. I live in a place that has 3 theaters, but they're all owned by the same person, and it's not a chain. So like we have this janky reward system, and my card never works, and it's you ask a different employee how many points you have, and every single one will give you a different answer. And so sometimes it's and it's kind of a dumb system too. So anyways, this is beside the point, but I don't always have access to every movie that's coming out. There are some, when they do some of those more art movies or different movies that have smaller releases and then they go wider and wider, sometimes that wider and wider never really gets to me. So just a weird thing. Also, thank you all for sticking with us. Sorry you had to listen to my janky mic until this episode. I did get a new mic because my ears also hurt listening to me in previous episodes. So I'm back, new mic, new me, ready to go. This brings me another point though, is I'm sorry, but the whole limited versus wide release strategy in 2025 is so stupid. I understand they used to do it because they would start it in LA or New York, and sometimes you have to travel around with the film to different theaters to be able to play it. But we live in 2025. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just comes down to, what everything comes down to is money. And so, for example, if they release, because there are a bazillion people who live in Denver and the surrounding cities, they can, if there's hypothetically 12 theaters here, they can release it in 2. And enough people will go see it. So we'll talk about the English dub of this, but I got to see Ne Zha 2 in Mandarin back in February.
Right.
But it was not playing at every single theater. I had to go to the big IMAX AMC. So again, in the 4 theaters around me, only one was playing it because that one theater could get enough people in. And even then it wasn't packed. It was also me and 2 other white people, and the rest was Asian people because I
love that.
They were there to see. The English subtitles were for about 3 of us, and everyone else knew Mandarin.
I love it.
But that's just kind of the thing. That's kind of what it comes down to, I think, is just money. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a big enough city that I usually get those things. It's usually, again, very limited. Like Ne Zha 2, I saw probably when I saw it in Mandarin, I saw probably one of the last ones they were showing.
Gotcha. Well, another really big movie, I think that came out this month on Netflix, we had Happy Gilmore 2.
Yes, I have not seen Happy Gilmore 1.
I think I have so long ago, I don't remember really anything that goes on. And maybe I didn't, and I just confused it with the dozen or so similar Adam Sandler movies that came out around that time.
Right.
I think I did see, though, that it set the new Nielsen record for minutes streamed. I don't know if that was
did see that.
monthly or premiere or whatever it was, but I thought that was interesting. Is that a type of movie you have to see in a theater, or is that okay to release on Netflix? And I think maybe that is more of a streaming movie than a Ne Zha 2 or something else like
Well,
that.
even
So
like they finally announced that Frankenstein was going to get a theatrical release.
no
It's gonna
kidding, I
be
didn't hear
it's gonna
that.
be small. It's not gonna be a massive wide release. I think it's only gonna be for like a weekend. But
They're not coming to Yakima, you don't think?
sorry.
Yeah. So in May of this year is when the Tim Robinson movie Friendship came out,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was releasing where I am, but I went down a week early to Portland to go see it with my brother. And
Nice.
let me tell you, there's two things. Here's my take. My take is if you're seeing a horror movie or a comedy movie, you want your theater jam-packed, elbows to elbows,
Agreed.
every seat filled. If it's an action movie, like a Dune, I want to be the only person in there.
Okay.
So, I mean, just being together, and we'll talk a little bit about it in a second when we talk about weapons, but like when I saw Friendship, all of us just sitting in there laughing, one of the best theater experiences I've had in a long time. So, with that
I
being
get
said,
that.
yeah, I think that there's probably a good market of a lot of people would love to go see Happy Gilmore 2 together and have a lot of those laughs. I also think it's the type of
That's
movie
true.
to throw on when you have a bunch of friends over or family and laugh
Hmm.
together. So there's different reasons and different trade-offs for each. But in general, I'm very pro theater and supportive. I mentioned
Agreed.
Dune because when I saw the first one, I'd read the books. I was very excited. And I was sitting next to some people that were talking, and I had to shush them. I am a verbal shusher in theaters, so don't sit by me and talk. I will shush you.
There was someone who had their phone out during Neja 2. They only had it out for a couple minutes, but I was in the process, because I'd seen it before just in Mandarin. I was in the process of getting out of my seat to go tell the AMC staff, hey, someone's using their phone. It's really freaking annoying. And they closed it just as I was starting to stand up, because I think my girlfriend looked over and could see me visibly agitated. I was annoyed.
Yeah, I try to. It's something I even talked about in therapy once about how do I not care? How do I work through it? And I think sometimes I can, especially one of the best stories I have is when I was watching Killers of the Flower Moon, and a pretty serious movie, but it starts
Hmm.
off with this like really elegant sort of shot of a teepee and this tribal dance and all this different things. And it's only me and one other family in the theater. And it's like this grandparents and their kids. And, I'm like, that's a good family experience and bonding and all this stuff. And I'm sure. But it
Yeah.
opens up with this shot, and the grandpa goes, wigwam. And just the
Jesus.
whole movie is just talking about what's
Yeah,
going on the screen and reacting. And
I
it drove me
can't.
crazy. But that's the one that I was like, no, this is a special experience for this family. I don't know. I'm pro shushing. I'm pro telling people to
I
act responsibly.
One of the theaters that I really like up here is the Alamo Draft House, because they have little cards where you order food and you can actually just write like, "Hey, this person next to me won't shut up. Can you tell
Oh,
them
no,
to knock
no
it off?"
kidding. That's pretty cool.
Or like, "This person next to me is using their phone." Like, you can leave a little card and post it, and they'll give them one warning, and if they keep going, they'll be escorted out of the theater. Which, again, I think in like a home environment, I love, little tidbits here and there, people having little fun facts behind the scenes stuff. I think that is fun to a degree, but I think, especially in a theater setting, I'm like, need y'all to shut up.
Yeah,
But
I haven't had any egregious experiences, but people just gotta act up. Stop acting up.
yeah,
We gotta bring back
agreed.
decorum into our public spaces.
Agreed. Well, let's kind of dive into some of these. So I know you've seen some, I've seen some we've both seen, some aren't out yet, but we'll kind of go through here. So the ones I was looking at that were kind of the big ones coming out in August. So these are the ones that I kind of picked out as far as like, oh, okay, these ones are cool ones that are coming out, or that came out and seem to do quite well, were highly anticipated. Bad Guys 2, I did not see. I did not see the first one. It's this movie that it's a franchise that I think looks interesting, but then the reviews don't actually pique my interest enough to go see it.
I thought
Thoughts?
I thought this one especially was pretty well reviewed. I haven't seen either of these as well. They're based off of books. I
Yeah.
actually think I will visit them at some point. But yeah, I think to me, they look like they're enjoyable.
Yeah, same. Like, I've really enjoyed the trailers. I just, like I said, I've looked in the reviews enough. Bad Guys 2 did get pretty decent. Not great, but pretty solid reviews. So I think I'm in the same boat. I will get around to it. It has piqued my interest, just not enough to make me go
Sure,
see it.
sure. Another
And then
side note, I'm very good
yeah.
at these. We got to do an episode. We got to do a top 5 trailers. I think that would be really fun.
For sure.
Because
Absolutely.
this was a really good trailer, and it's, if you choose the right song, if you choose the right way to set things up, because this sets up a heist movie with Billie Eilish playing over it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can get behind this.
Right. Also, one of the best trailers in recent years, that first Barbie trailer with the 2001 A Space Odyssey playoff. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, or
Anyway.
The Force Awakens. I think that was a fantastic. Anyways,
But,
other movies.
Naked Gun, I also did not see quite yet because I haven't seen any of that franchise. I haven't seen any of like the originals. I heard this one was fantastic.
Yeah, and speaking of trailers, did not work for me. It played before, I want to say Mission Impossible Final Reckoning.
If it's the final.
It won't be, but I think it is the final Tom Cruise. Or if he does come back, it's like a mentor role. Anyways, no, the humor did not land for me, but the guy sitting next to me, busting up, just thought it was the funniest thing he ever seen. It was so wholesome and so funny. But you're right, though. I've heard the same thing. Very, very well received. And,
Yeah, very, very well received. And then Freakier Friday.
I also did not see Freakier Friday. What I did see is the horror movie Freaky, which, same.
Oh,
it's basically a slasher with the plot of switching bodies. So that was kind of a fun. It wasn't that good, but I had seen the trailer for this when it first came out, and I was like, ooh, I want to see that, and didn't see it till happened to be Freakier Friday month, and I was like, well, I'll watch Freaky. I won't watch Freakier Friday, and it wasn't that good, but some fun parts.
Well, and I mean, Freakier Friday did it was a pretty big box office. A lot of people in our generation, I think, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. We're nostalgia junkies.
Sure.
And so, while Freaky Friday wasn't my thing, like, I remember when Disney Plus came back, how many of, like, my sister and my sister's friends, like, went back and watched Hannah Montana or Kim Possible because they could.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of where Freakier Friday landed, is it's just not my nostalgia bait. I heard it was pretty well received. It just, the trailers didn't look interesting to me. I had because I've seen Freaky Friday, I think, but I don't remember very much of it. And I remember it being pretty good, but I just, no great desire to go back and play in that sandbox.
Yeah.
But again, I will, in future months, I will be much better at being able to talk about a lot more of these because I will be attending more. Yeah, Freakier Friday, again, pretty decent box office success, decent reviews, just not my cup of tea.
One of the biggest reasons I'm surprised, it seems like one that I think a lot of people would look at and say, oh, awesome, I can't wait to watch this on Disney Plus in 20 days.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm glad people are getting out to the movies.
But yeah, something that came out that same weekend, which you have seen, I have not gotten around to yet. I meant to and then got out of work late and didn't want to miss the first 10 minutes, so I bailed, was Weapons. Because you had seen Barbarian, right?
No, I still haven't.
You haven't seen Barbarian? Oh, dang. Okay.
I read I don't know at what point, but at some point, I think this was before there weird phrases in my life. High school, saw a good amount of horror movies.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. And then a long period, didn't visit any. And I think now I've gone back and seen some more, but this was during the period when I wasn't looking at or watching very many horror movies. But what I was doing is I would read the Wikipedia plot summaries of the horror movie. And so,
all right, I mean, that's one way to do it.
I essentially knew what happens in Barbarian and knew it was just a wild
Okay.
ride. And if there's one way to describe weapons, it is a wild ride.
Okay.
There's and it's a mixed bag too. It's not a perfect movie. One of the main thoughts I had was I could not imagine watching that movie by myself on streaming.
Okay.
Not that I'd be scared or anything like that, but it just would not hit the same to not be in a room
Okay.
full of people all looking around at each other like, what are we watching right now? This is crazy bonkers.
Okay.
So it just really kind of, I've seen some criticism of like, some people really like the first hour or so. Some people really like the middle bit. And a lot of people, the end doesn't work as well. And so I think a lot of people kind of feel
Oh,
like, what is going on
what's
here?
happening? Yeah.
Which are totally valid, but absolutely everyone should go see this movie in a theater. It is very violent though, so if that's not your
Okay.
thing, avoid it. It's not the scariest movie you'll ever see, but there are, a handful of jump scares and a handful of very creepy things, but overall,
And
just a wild experience.
And I'm going in pretty blind, but as far as I understand, the synopsis just basically says a bunch of kids went missing at the exact same time one
Yes.
night.
That's really all you need to know. I saw someone, I think it was Movies or Therapy on Instagram, an account I really like to follow. He basically said it's kind of like Prisoners, the movie Prisoners to start,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
then it just develops into a wild, wild ride.
The
Um,
Denis Villeneuve film, the one with Hugh
yes,
Jackman
yes.
and okay.
Yes. And so that, I think that is another thing.
Okay.
But even the director was kind of like, I don't know what some of this means. I just had the idea and just put it in there. So there are some
Interesting.
misses, but overall, it's just a really fun ride and everyone should go see it in theater.
Interesting. All right. And then Nobody 2. Have you seen the first Nobody?
No, I love Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
Loved him in Better Call Saul. Loved him in some other things. So I'll visit those eventually. I just haven't.
Yeah, the first one was very well received. The second one has not at all been well received.
Yeah.
That's all we really need to talk about that one. Honey Don't, the new Cohen. It's not the Cohen brothers. It was just one of them.
Okay.
But yeah, Honey Don't, Ethan Cohen, same kind of situation, was not overly well received. I've had a lot of friends see it. Rotten Tomatoes, it's only got a 45. Letterboxd, it's got a 2.5.
Oof.
Yeah, Metacritic, it's got a 48. Like, it's just not working, I guess. I was really excited about it. Margaret Qualley is kind of the new face. Aubrey Plaza is great. Chris Evans plays this like charismatic reverend. I was really, I heard lesbian storyline and I was like, I'm there. The premise on IMDb just says a dark comedy about small town private investigator Honey O'Donoghue who delves into a series of strange deaths tied to a mysterious church. I was expecting kind of a Love Lies Bleeding
Sure.
maybe type of situation, just kind of this dirtbag small town, with kind of your typical Cohen flair, and it sounds like it is just not landing.
Yeah, it'd be maybe that's an interesting compare contrast between Love Lies Bleeding. Obviously, we haven't seen this one, but I am curious. This is, death nail into what I'm about to say, but I'll probably wait for streaming and
There you
then
go.
kind of just see like why. I'm really just curious why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And usually I'm pretty averse to going into a movie that I'm pretty sure I won't like, but this one just seems like it should have hit all the beats and it just didn't. So I'm just curious.
That's exactly what I think. I mean, Ethan Cohen, the last one he directed was Drive Away Dolls, which came out, I think, last year. Also starred Margaret Qualley. It didn't do great, but it did better than this one as far as just reviews. 56 Metascore, which isn't amazing, but it's also not terrible. But
I feel like that letterbox score is what really really gets me.
Yeah.
If you're not over 3 on Letterboxd, that means that you don't even have like a following of people that really like it.
Driveway Dolls had a 64 Rotten Tomatoes and a 2.8 Letterboxd, so it's not like it's doing incredibly well, or Driveway Dolls, but Honey Don't is distinctly, I don't want to say distinctly worse because I haven't seen it, but like has decidedly less positive reviews.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing because I don't know if it's just that Ethan needs Joel with him to make a movie or what, because I really like a lot of the other, Coen Brothers films, but I don't know. And then the Great Value Jurassic Park movie Primitive War came out.
The what?
Did you see that? The Jurassic Park knockoff. It's called Primitive War.
No, I have not heard of that.
Have you not heard of this thing? My gosh. Let me find this thing. I saw a trailer for it.
I gotta look this
at the
up.
beginning of, I think Superman. It was at the beginning of Superman. And I was just like, what? Because I thought it was a Jurassic Park trailer at first, or Jurassic World. And I was like, no, it just came out. What is going on? Okay.
Oh my gosh,
so this
it has
is
really good reviews.
Oh, but this is the premise on IMDb. Vietnam, 1968. A recon unit known as Vulture Squad is sent to an isolated jungle valley to uncover the fate of a missing Green Beret platoon. They soon discover they are not alone.
Oh my gosh.
So it's basically Marines versus dinosaurs is the movie.
Heck yeah.
It does have decent review. I mean, it's got a 6.9 on IMDb. It's got an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if it's just that no one is seeing it. And so the people that are seeing it are being like, yeah, it's okay. I don't know. Like, part of me is like, it literally just looks like dinosaur schlock, and I don't know if I want to see it, but I'm a little intrigued. But yeah, Primitive War, there it is.
Isn't it interesting that seemingly only Jurassic Park can get dinosaurs any sort of interest for people, or do it any sort of, justice as far as visual effects and everything? It seems like, Jurassic Park doesn't have to have the monopoly on dinosaurs, I guess.
Dinosaurs.
If Primitive War becomes a big thing, then cool.
We'll see. I mean, it didn't make much money, but yeah, I mean, pretty critically well received. Anyway, that's Primitive War. F1. Did you see F1?
I did not.
Me either. So we won't spend a ton of time on it. I know that it was well received. It's Brad Pitt being a race car driver. There's not, again, I heard it was good. Don't know a ton about it.
I will say, so you, as far as I remember, have not seen Top Gun Maverick?
No, I have not.
So Joseph Kosinski is the director for both these films. Top Gun Maverick is awesome. And what makes it really awesome is the way that it films literal fighter jets and the practical effects of doing that. And I've heard the same thing, that the F1 driving in this movie is remarkable. So this is actually a regret. I wish I had caught this at the theater on the big screens. I'm sure it would have been amazing. But I've heard the plot is just kind of fairly vanilla, but this is a movie to go in for the fast cars driving, not the plot.
Yeah, I heard similar things were basically like really visually stunning, but yeah, plot is just kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's there. There is a plot. It's a plot that we've already seen about 12 other times, but it's sure. There. It's a plot. And then ones that are kind of coming up before the end of August, and then we'll dive into September before we really dive into Neja and Neja 2. We've got Highest to Lowest, which I know you and I are probably going to do a arts and charts with that one, and Kurosawa's film High and Low, which is what this is kind of based off of. Mm-hmm. So excited. Good old Spike Lee. But yeah, I mean, we got that. And then Caught Stealing, I know, is one that you're really looking forward to.
Yep.
With Austin Butler. And
I'll probably catch that one next week. It's, as far as I remember, it is based off a book, but it's like Austin Butler is a professional baseball player and he gets involved in crime, something along those lines. So, caught stealing because baseball.
Yeah. I mean, burned out ex-baseball player Hank Thompson unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle for survival amidst the criminal underbelly of 1990s New York City. forced to navigate a treacherous underworld he never imagined. I mean, it's Darren Aronofsky, who has a pretty decent track record. I mean, you got Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, a decent cast there.
From early views, it seems to be reviewing like a solid movie. You know, not the best thing people have ever seen, but a solid, a good time. So I'm excited.
And then one that I had like just barely started to see little teasers for is called The Roses. It looks to be like a dark comedy, screwball comedy type of thing. A tinderbox of competition and resentments underneath the facade of a picture-perfect couple is ignited when the husband's professional dreams come crashing down. So Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch play the lead couple, but it's also got, Kate McKinnon, Andy Samberg. It looks to be, pretty small cast. The director is Jay Roach. So he's done the Austin Powers, Meet the Fockers, Dinner for Schmucks, and Bombshell. And so, I don't know. Like I said, I saw the trailer and just a little teaser and was like, that actually looks like it could be kind of fun. So we'll see. I don't know.
Cool.
It was enough to pique my interest, but do you want to talk about what's coming up in September?
Yeah, absolutely. Or do we want to do Naja first?
Yeah, let's talk about Naja.
Okay.
So this one, it also came out dubbed. A24 took over the distribution rights for it in the US for the dubbed version. It is the movie that is, it made gangbusters in China. $2.2 billion. It's in the top 5 box office hits ever. It is the animated movie that, highest box office animated film, passing, the recent Mario and Inside Out 2. Like, this thing took the world by storm. So I saw it back in February in Mandarin. I was told I did not need to see the first one, and so I didn't. I would recommend seeing the first one before seeing this one, even though the first one is not very good. And we'll talk about that, but I really do think it improves the experience of Ne Zha 2, so we can kind of talk about both of them. But I did, in prep for this, I did see Ne Zha 1 the night before. It was streaming on Peacock, so I saw it dubbed. I know you saw it as well.
Yes.
We both landed on the same Letterboxd star rating. So why don't you tell me your thoughts, and then I'll take it from there.
Yeah, and you'd seen it before me, and you kept saying, and in general, I think we both would prefer to watch something in the original language and then with subtitles. And I think too, it's helps you be a little bit more engaged in a movie like that. Especially when I found myself, I don't know if bored is the right word, but I did find myself not as engaged or interested. The dub really is kind of bad. One of the funniest things, though, to me is they changed basically everybody's voice between the dub of 1 and 2, which, is something that...
not everyone, but a good chunk of them.
And it literally feels like the difference in quality is 1 is a TV movie and 2 is a real movie.
Yeah, just in talking about the voice acting, so the lip flapping doesn't line up exactly, and that's less of a concern for me. Like, I could overlook that, but some of it was just bad. Like, either the voice was just felt really wooden, like there was no inflection, or there was like too much. I was just like, these voice actors are not good.
It really just kind of sets the whole thing off in this weird tonally, and I think you agree. It's a lot of sort of immature type jokes, which land for some people, kiddie. And that's fine and all good, but yeah, two was something else.
Yeah, I think Ne Zha 2 times the comedy better, because there's still the fart jokes and there's still some of the very childish, but I don't know if it was just timed better or what, but like the first one, I felt like I was constantly rolling my eyes. The visuals were hit or miss, though. I will say some of the water and the ice looked really great.
Mm-hmm. In 1 or 2?
The fire in 1.
Okay.
The fire looked bad.
Yeah.
Most of the fire was not well constructed visually. I thought the water and ice was pretty good. The character designs, I didn't really get behind. They all had 3D animation sometimes tends to have a very plasticky look that I don't enjoy.
Yeah, I think that's actually my general take is I don't love the animation in these movies. I think they work
Ooh,
in a lot of
interesting.
cases. And in particular, the dragon people work great for me. I think those are
So
awesome.
good.
And
So good.
I look at them and I was like, wow, that is a awesome looking
When
dude.
you see the humanoid versions of them too, I was like, yeah.
I was like, I can get behind this. But then they're paired with kind of the funny, regular looking. It's just weird because it's like Naja compared to everyone else, like doesn't fit in the same animation style. It's just his characters are a lot
Him and
different.
I would say his master Tai Yi as well.
Yeah, so
he and Tai Yi are very, very almost jelly, like they move with this like elasticity almost.
So that's kind of when I say the animation, those are the main, that's what I really mean is I don't love those aspects of it. Every fight scene is great, but those
every fight scene slaps.
Yeah, those part of it, that part of it is just a little bit.
Let me give a brief summary. So a lot of this franchise is based off of like a lot of Chinese mythology, which is why I would recommend you watch the first. I think the first one adds some more emotional weight to Neja and his parents, which I think really pays off in the second one. Because there's we won't spoil it, but there's one scene that when I watched the Neja 2 the first time, I was sad. This time was sobbing.
Yeah.
Straight up lost it.
Before you keep going, let me just say, and again, no spoilers, the crying scenes in this, when like Neja is crying or other characters, is like crying.
Oh yeah.
Like
it's not
you're
pretty.
watching
it's
like,
not,
oh
it's
my
not
gosh.
Disney princess crying.
No, it is, yeah.
But so yeah, very, very steeped in Chinese mythology. So the first one is there's the spirit pearl. It breaks in two. You have the demon half of it, and what is Ao Bing's half? It might just be like the spirit half of the dragon half or something. Anyway, so Neja is a human that's basically infused with this demon power, and Ao Bing, his counterpart, is basically this dragon infused with the other part. And so the first one is all about how, because Neja is a demon, heaven is going to wreak this magical lightning bolt that's going to come and kill him in 3 years. So it's him growing up, his parents are trying to teach him how to be a good kid, and he's not having it because he's half a demon. He's just this child wreaking havoc. But it also shows like a gentler side to him. Like he just wants a friend. He doesn't want to be a kid, and he can't. And he eventually meets Ao Bing, and for the first time ever, he's like, "Oh, here's someone I can play this game with because I'm not going to hurt them because I'm so powerful. Like this is my friend. This is the first time I have a friend." Various events happen. There's some fight scenes. Blah, blah, blah. The lightning does come, and Ao Bing and Neja basically join forces to kind of push back the lightning. But in return, their souls are not destroyed, their bodies are. So that's how the first one ends. The second one literally picks up right where it left off, where they're reconstructing new magical bodies for these two characters. But Ao Bing's old master, who is reunited with the dragons, comes to attack this town, basically. So in doing so, Ao Bing, he has this newly constructed body, but you can't push the body too far right out the gate because the body is still trying to solidify. Mm-hmm. He uses way too much of his power to save this town. He ends up disintegrating. Neja has been, in this like incubation lotus the entire time during this battle. So he comes out and he's like, what's going on? So it's this mix of the dragon, Ao Bing's dad, basically, and, the dragons are like, hey, you got to get Ao Bing his body back. If you don't, we're going to destroy the town. And so the way they decide to go about it is Ao Bing and Neja are both sharing Neja's body. So this little body is housing these two powerful souls. And he's going to undergo these trials so that he can get this magical elixir that will help them get Ao Bing's body, basically, is the short version.
Yeah.
So, you have these 3 trials that are everywhere from the first one is very comedic. The second one is very like kind of this dark action. The last one is almost like a horror type of vibe, but there's a fun little twist. There's this really long battle sequence that's like a third of the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is all I will say. Ne Zha 1 didn't do it for me. I was very much like, okay, the visuals are hit or miss. Action sequences are pretty good. I don't really care for the character designs or the rendering on those. I really dig the second one.
Yeah, and I think part of the issue with 1 is I think it's actually quite rushed, and I think it doesn't sit with some of the storylines long enough for you to really kind of care as much about what's going on.
The first one is rushed, and it shouldn't feel like that for a 2-hour-long movie.
Exactly.
But yeah, the second one is 20 minutes longer.
Yeah, and I'm not against long movies, and maybe I was just tired because I saw a 9 o'clock showing, but I would say maybe there's one fight too many. I would just take that.
I was literally about to say the second one goes on about 2 climaxes too long.
Yeah, it kind of has some false starts. It works really, really well when it does have some more of those kind of, not necessarily hand-to-hand combat, but like individuals fighting each other combat type stuff. It really works really well.
I mean, the movie opens with a freaking solid battle sequence.
Maybe my favorite part of the movie, honestly. And the creature designs is also my favorite part of the movie. You have these like lots of amphibians, but you have a shark that's walking on 2 legs fighting people.
Mm-hmm.
You have this octopus or mind flayer looking type guy.
Yeah.
You have these cool crab little dudes running around. All the creature designs for the demons are awesome. And I guess demons are having some sort of heyday right now. You have K-pop Demon Hunters too right now. That's really going crazy. It is an interesting thing, right? So this movie has made over $2 billion.
Right.
And the English dub opens this weekend. And from reports that I sent to Curie, it basically flopped as far as U.S. audience. And it was wide. It wasn't a limited release. It was a wide release. I can tell you my experience in the theater. It was in the big auditorium, which is your typical, a lot of seats in there, a couple hundred. And it was me and one other person that was watching this movie on a Saturday night. So it just kind of shows that I blame it. I lean more towards, I think this episode will probably release before our episode on Sing Sing and Shawshank Redemption releases, which in that one, I give a rant on A24 as a studio and the way they distribute things. So I won't go into that here, but I think I lean more towards the marketing and the engagement was basically non-existent. And I think you lean more towards generally willingness as in our society as a whole to engage with foreign films, regardless of where you sit. It just seems to not have interested people here.
Yeah, I mean, so I did a little, I'm siding with you a little more when I do research, because it did make 17 million in North America earlier this year when it did its Mandarin.
Okay.
To be fair, a lot of Asian audiences did go see it, which that has something to do with it. They're not going to go see the English dub. I mean, I do agree. I think there could have been a lot more buzz about it. I do think it already, let me put it this way. I think it was already going into an uphill battle simply because mainstream American moviegoers tend to not engage with international cinema as much. I would say the most popular is Studio Ghibli, but even that is not, I have family members who have seen maybe a few Studio Ghibli films. Yeah,
I think it comes down to 3 things for me. It's that one that you just mentioned. It's a sequel, which makes it difficult to, you have to. People are like, well, I haven't seen the first one, so why would I see the second one? And the first one just isn't as good, which just makes it more difficult.
And not even close. Like, it's not even that it's not as good. It's not even close to as good.
Yeah, and my second point, I don't know who this is for. I think the first hour or so feels very much like your typical kids movie. Like, think like a Kung Fu Panda. I feel like it's very in line with like a Kung Fu Panda. But then the rest of the movie is very, and even some in the beginning, but the rest of the movie is very dark at times and very action heavy. The first one definitely is more
kid friendly,
Mhm.
which is maybe why I didn't like as much. Second one, I think it is kid friendly. I would not say it's for like younger than maybe 8 or 9.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say 8 to 12, I think would kind of be your sweet spot where they would still find some of the potty humor funny, but they would be mature enough to kind of understand some of the later themes. Cause even the part where they're in the, I don't feel like this is much of a spoiler because if you haven't seen it, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. But in the cauldron, where you start to see the fire and like the skull like faces,
Mm-hmm.
the red skull faces in the lava, like my girlfriend leans over to me and she was like, "This is kind of creepy." I
Right.
was like, "Yeah, no, it totally is."
Right. Well, and you have a similar scene in Mulan when they go to one of the villages that's been pillaged. You have a similar kind of scene like that in Neja. There are some very much darker elements that you are seeing
Yes.
that's like, oh my
Agreed.
gosh, I can't believe we're looking at this right now. So, yeah, I think those are the three things as far as, again, this movie made $2 billion. So it's not like it's a flop, but you would think that it would have more legs in a re-release in America. Again, it shouldn't have been me and one other person watching this movie when I saw
Agreed.
Weapons a few weeks ago and the theater was absolutely full.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, we saw it on a Friday night, like 7 p.m. showing. It was us, and there was maybe 3 or 4 people behind us and 3 or 4 people in front of us. Also, no more than 10 people in the theater.
Yeah.
And again, I live in like a suburb of Denver. It should have been packed. There was one part about having a couple of kids in the theater, though. Right where you meet the master guy, the guy who has the huge head and it's bald. You meet him. Immediately after the scene, the little kid behind us goes, "Why is he so bald?" And I don't know why, but that killed me. I just started laughing.
Love it.
Oh, it was a good time.
I'll say between me and the other guy that was in there, there were a few audible laughs from him. So that was kind of fun that, it was just us.
Yeah, I definitely chuckled a few times for sure. I think the visuals in this were just like cranked up to level 10. Visually so much better, just really cool, really a lot of the colors just pop more. It doesn't look nearly as plastic. Everything looks alive and lived in. I still don't love all of the character designs, but they do seem more engaging and like dynamic than the first. And like this is very clearly set up to be a franchise. Like this is going to be a series, at least one more. I wouldn't be surprised if there was 2, 3 more movies coming.
Yeah, I mean,
did you watch the mid-credits scene?
No, it was too late. I know it told you that there's going to be one. I should have stayed. I know.
There's some stuff.
I'll have to go look it up. But it clearly sets up. But I mean, this is a $2 billion money printer, so why would they not make a bunch of more?
Yeah, for sure.
Any movie that makes $2 billion, I think, is worth at least exploring to understand what's going on. Why are people engaging with this so much? I know there were some articles that came out that basically it was this idea that you were not being patriotic in China if you did not go see this movie.
Because again, it's very steeped in Chinese mythology. And so, I mean, when you kind of look at it, like, yes, the movie made a bazillion dollars, and I'm not discounting that. It also was targeted towards China, which is like the biggest country in the world.
Right.
And it was really something that was targeted, like specific, like it was a movie for China, 100%. And so, like, I get what you're saying. It was not made for the U.S. It was made for China.
So that kind of goes into a question I had for you. What kind of makes a movie, or what are the characteristics that a movie has that leads to this tremendous financial success? And on the flip side, what are some movies that seem to have those ingredients but weren't as successful as they maybe should have been?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it is just studio backing, like Disney movies, Pixar movies. When you already have a reputation, I think that helps. And so this one, and with Neja too, you tend to see sequels do well in the box office, even if they're not as critically well received. For when you look at Neja 2, like one had already established this world, these characters, and and it made good money. It made $700 million. Its budget was like 20 million or something. So it made like opening weekend, it quadrupled. It made like 88 million or something. So its opening weekend, the first one in China, made 4 times what its budget was.
Wow.
So then, obviously that kind of set up for people to be excited for this one. I think part of it is just mathematics too. Again, China is a very high leap. And that makes a difference.
Right.
And another reason too, this movie in particular, animated movies, family-friendly movies tend to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for example, if you're going to go see Weapons, it's going to be just you.
Right.
When you're seeing Elio, Neja 2, whatever, a family-friendly movie, you're not only paying for your ticket, you're paying for yours and your 2 kids and your spouse. And you know what I mean? You're not buying 1 or 2 tickets, you're buying 4. And so I think that has something to do with it too, Yeah,
that's a really good point. And I think there's 2 different people or mindsets when going to movies like this. There's the people that are, hey, let's go to a movie, what's playing? And then they're going to look and they're going to choose what's familiar or what they want to go see. And then there's the other type of people that, whether it's a McDonald's toy, because that is actually how my sister-in-law, when I went to go see Elio, she's like, oh, they have those at McDonald's. That's how she was familiar with that. And so I think sometimes specific marketing or commercials or whatever, trailers, is how other people get into it. I think first of all, you have to have like a decent to good movie, and then have a combination of the right backing, like you said, studios, the right critical reception, and then the right marketing for people that are going to go see your movie. Even release time of year, right? Your holidays versus summer blockbusters are going to be a big deal. So anyways, when I think of movies that I think should have made buku bucks, but maybe only did fine or okay or didn't do well, a few of those I think could have been bigger hits. Another international one, RRR, out of India. Pandemic is probably the main factor here, but I think that was one that kind of dipped into even America as a mainstream type thing. Not quite mainstream, but more mainstream than you typically expect. And I think with, again, a few of those factors, marketing or availability of going to the theaters, I think that one could have done really, really tremendously well. The other 2 I have, pandemic just kind of screwed a lot of things up. I don't know that if this one came out today, I think unless they changed some of the marketing or strategy behind it, it would need some additional help to be able to do it. But I think the Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out has the elements as far as a movie that I think could have been tremendously successful. Just kind of finding that right audience or that right marketing to kind of push it over the edge. And I think that one just appeals really well to a wide range of people.
But the one that came to mind when you were kind of naming films was Furiosa.
Oh, sure.
Which was a damn shame.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just came out too far after Fury Road. I don't know. I hate to be this person, but I don't know if it was a female star, so people didn't care.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, my dad didn't go see it in theaters, and then he saw it while streaming and was like, this is awesome. And I was like, uh-huh.
Yes, very much.
You know when they could have used this kind of hype? Back when it was in theaters.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, because I don't think we'll ever get Mad Max Wasteland, because Furiosa did as poorly as it flopped.
Yeah.
So I don't entirely know.
You have the backing of Australia, and George Miller has done some crazy things, so I wouldn't put it out of the question that Wasteland gets made. But you're absolutely right. It's like what ingredients were missing on Furiosa that didn't make it as popular. And I mean, I loved it. I had a great time with it. So.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, interesting question. I don't know if we had the exact right answer, everyone would just be making billion-dollar movies and,
For sure.
living life.
Yep.
All right. Well, should we move on to September releases, or do you have any last thoughts on
yes.
that job?
Yeah. Let's see what's kind of piquing our interest in September.
Right. So right off the bat, we have a new Conjuring movie. Have not seen any other Conjuring movies, but I'm sure people will love that.
Yes.
Second weekend, we have The Long Walk, which is a Stephen King book adaptation.
Real quick, did you see that Hamilton is going to be playing in theaters?
I did see that. Do you know what version it is?
It's funny.
Is it the version that released on Disney Plus?
It's the one on Disney Plus.
Okay. It's fun. We like that one. I don't know that I'll catch it this time around, but that's kind of exciting. I'm sure there is a big market for people that will want to go see that. So if that's you, look out for it. So anyways, The Long Walk, as far as I understand, that is the plot. Is a group of boys go for a long walk and they like fall down dead after a while because they can't keep walking forever. So Mark Hamill's in it.
I have some.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
I
have some friends who are very excited for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's one of those ones that if it seems to be well received, I'll go check it out. But right now, it doesn't really pique my interest.
Okay.
That's fine. We have Downton Abbey, the grand finale. I'm not sure if I believe that, but they claim it's the grand finale. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, which I think looks pretty intriguing. This is the one, if you've seen any trailers, it has Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, and there's a door, and they like go into it and see moments from their life or something like that. I guess that's it seems like a rom-com type thing, but seems interesting. I'm also seeing now that Hamish Linklater is in this, and he is someone I gotta go see. He's in Midnight Mass and just one of the best actors.
Oh, that's right.
So gotta go check that out. The one I'm probably the most excited for coming out in September is Him. This is the Jordan Peele produced horror movie that seems to be about a football player that wants to be, the best of all time. And I think it actually specifically uses the goat imagery in it, but it seems to be some sort of, Faustian deal with the devil, but then it also seems to have some crazy twist. So I don't know. I'm very excited for this. Looking forward to that. We finally have One Battle After Another, which is the Paul Thomas Anderson with Leonardo DiCaprio that will likely be an awards player. So a lot of people looking forward to that. I'm lukewarm on it. I'll probably go check it out because it will be an awards contender, but nothing really excites me too much. I don't have too much experience with Paul Thomas Anderson, so maybe that's my issue. But
there are some I like, some I don't.
Yeah, so we'll see. And then this other one I'll mention, just because Oliver's been really into Gabby's Dollhouse recently. I guess there's a Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, coming out end of the month. So perhaps I'll go check that out.
There also are some really cool re-releases coming out, just fun re-release stuff coming out. Jaws is at the tail end of August. They're going to do Batman and Batman Returns, like pretty much back to back, same weekend. Sound of Music, Toy Story is coming back for re-release, Apollo 13. So they're doing a lot of, I will say this from the pandemic. I think the pandemic did kind of, because movie theaters had to stay open somehow, so they did a lot of like classic re-releases, and I think that has kind of sparked a bit of a market for that.
Great, yeah.
Which I think is exciting. Like Sarah and I are going to go see Jaws in IMAX, and like
that's so cool.
Jaws came out years before I was born, and so it's exciting to be able to, like, she loves Jaws, I love Jaws, we've both already seen it, but like we're going to be able to see like this big shark movie on a massive screen.
Yeah.
And like, that's really exciting. And like, I got to see, when Princess Mononoke got its 4K release, that was my first time seeing it. And that was probably my best theater experience ever.
That's awesome.
And so it's super, super fun seeing kind of these re-releases, and some I'm not as interested in, Hamilton, I'm like, okay. Toy Story, I don't know if I'll go see a re-release of that either. I've also very recently seen it. But like Apollo 13, I think that would be really cool to see on a very big screen. Sound of Music, I love the Sound of Music. That would be fun to go see that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of fun to the re-release.
Yeah, no doubt.
Campaign that movie theaters are doing.
I agree. I think a lot of people want that and wish to do that. There's also probably 45 to 100 streaming movies coming out next month too that I didn't cover, so sorry.
Right.
You can go check those out if you
need
want.
to.
I think in general though, and you'll find that I think a lot of times you hear people say there's no good movies coming out anymore or anything like that. We're here to tell you, and we're here to advocate that there's always great things out there and great gems, and we'll let you know, and we're excited at least to go see some things, so it should be a fun month, and yeah.
I will say this, I do think that September is a slower month for movies.
Sure.
Because August is kind of still carrying some of that summer blockbuster weight behind it. September isn't, and October really likes to lean into some of the more horror things, and they're doing like a re-release of Casper, but there's also, October sometimes tends to have some pretty gnarly horror stuff, but things don't really pick back up until like November, December for awards season.
Right.
So,
and even blockbusters like that, like we're getting Wicked and Avatar, Wicked in Thanksgiving time and Avatar Christmas time. So
right, and then you're also getting Zootopia 2 coming out. Then there's another SpongeBob movie. So there are things coming out. Not only awards season, but kind of there are some heavy hitters also coming out in November and December. September is a little bit of a quieter month. We're going to do a segment at the beginning of every episode called What's in Theaters, where we will briefly recap what is currently in theaters, what's worth checking out, what's maybe worth skipping. Yeah, but we'll see what September brings. We've definitely got some movies we're anticipating and some August movies to catch up on. I think we've got a good few weeks ahead of us.
For sure. Good times.
Awesome. Well, next we did also, real quick, we are going to start a mini series type situation where Adam found out that I hadn't seen any Star Wars stuff since The Last Jedi, because I hate The Last Jedi with every fiber of my being. So next week, because it is the 5th, kind of it'll be the 5th week that we're recording in this month. So we're going a little, that's where we're kicking it off, is kind of on a odd number of days in a month. But we are going to go through many, many Star Wars things so that I can catch up on all of this hot garbage.
There's so much.
And some of this not so hot garbage.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited.
The first episode, go ahead.
Yeah, as you're saying, first episode, we're going to revisit the entire sequel trilogy, which, spoiler, we will have some takes. As everyone does. I don't know that anyone really regards them well, but I think this series is just going to be fun, because I think it not only lets us talk about Star Wars, which at one point in both of our lives, we've been huge fans.
Yes.
I think it also gives a really, really good insight into so much about the state of the industry and why some things are the way they are, and why there are some issues and things, and how the good things do come out. So it'll be a fun series. But yeah, that first one will be a lot of, if you like the sequel trilogy, maybe avoid it unless you're really good at taking criticism and moving forward and not being mad at us. I don't want you to be mad at me, but yeah, we don't like a lot of it.
I will have
I think even between ourselves, we're gonna have some fighting words, but it should be a good time.
Oh, I agree.
It should be a good time.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting. So we're kicking off with the sequel trilogy. We will, I'm going to be making my way through The Mandalorian, A Book of Boba Fett, Acolyte, Andor, Clone Wars, all Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, all of the things that I have missed because The Last Jedi was such trash. So yeah, we'll be kicking off next week with we'll be talking about the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. And I don't think we will have many positive things to say. Yeah, so that's where we're heading in next week. And I guess with that, we will wrap it up.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Check you next time. Bye.